Welcome everyone. It is a beautiful day. We're about midway through December. Before you know, 2026 is going to be here in no time at all. As you can see, I'm looking crisp, clean, all that. I got a new setup here. Finally, I'll be able to make reaction videos, split screen videos, all that. I got a new laptop, new camera, everything. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a lot of Americans leaving America. I thought initially it was just me, like, okay, I might leave. Maybe there's one or two other people. Apparently, this is becoming a phenomenon, right? So we're going to look at some clips here, read some articles, go over this together. By the way, if you have things you want me to react to, go over with, whether it's live stream, pre-recorded, leave it down below in the comment section. I'll get to it as soon as I can. But without further ado, let's go straight to this, right? So I happen to type this in America, right? Just to see what is going to pop up, right? I'm like, this is the internet, you never know what's going to pop up. So I typed it in, a lot of Americans leaving America, and it says, yes, many Americans are considering or planning to move abroad, with polls roughly 1 in 5 wanting to leave. I brought it up to a family member. They said, hey, I've been thinking about it too. I brought it up to another family member. They mentioned it. So I'm like, wait a second. This is a big thing. But why are they leaving? And where are they going to? These are the type of questions we want to ask, right? Because when it comes to relocating, even though you may want to get engulfed in another culture, you may want to be around some people that you feel like have some type of identity towards you, or maybe they can relate to you, or maybe a friend of a friend, etc., right? When you look at America, typically you look at a place like Dearborn, Michigan, right? It has a large Middle Eastern influence. You look at somewhere like Miami, Florida, it has a large Caribbean influence. Los Angeles, a large Mexican influence. I say that to say this: people more times than not like to go where they see other people who look like them. And I'm not saying you have to do this, I'm just bringing this to our attention, right? Because I think at the end of the day, we're all humans. But let's look into this, right? The first article, shout out to CNBC. As you know, they do make a lot of videos like this. They got one lady here, she talks about, I live in Martha's Vineyard, it's blah, 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 right? But they make a lot of videos about people relocating, sorry. So it made me question, like, okay, where are these people going to? A lot of people choose Europe, as we can see in this picture right here. But I'm like, what are the top 10 places people are going to? So this is a accredited site. We can vouch for them, right? They got articles, they got references, surveys, interviews, all type of stuff. This is a known website. I'm not saying they can't lie, but I'm just saying it would hurt their brand. They're a pretty big brand globally. So, U.S. travel to Portugal has boomed in recent years, and it's now the #1 country where Americans are hoping to move abroad. I remember looking at Portugal when I was a kid, like, this seems like a cool place. It doesn't take much to get the visa. They got all these things if you retire as far as tax incentives, tax breaks, etc. But in the last like 2-3 years, it's gone so crazy that now it's a little bit harder. So it used to be, I believe, 5 years before you get residency. Now it's like 10 or 15. But let's look at the top 10 right here. Survey takers are asked about the countries where they're interested in learning about. First, we have Portugal as #1. 2 as Spain. The third surprised me. Even the fourth, I'm gonna be honest with you, but the third, especially the UK. And the reason why I say that is because, no disrespect to the UK, but I kind of always looked at the two cultures as similar, right? If you look at the history, if you look at, immigration patterns, if you look at culture, things of that nature, a lot of our stuff is either based off them or maybe we influence them, vice versa, etc., etc. So I was surprised by the UK, Typically, I honestly thought like Asia was going to be, some of the Asian countries are going to be in the top 5. Like, they don't got Japan, they don't got Thailand, they don't got Malaysia, Singapore. But when you go to these different Asian countries, you see a lot of foreigners, especially Thailand. So we got Portugal, we got Spain, UK, Canada, Italy, Ireland, huh? People are moving to Ireland? I mean, hey, if that's your thing, I'm just surprised. Because when I talk to people on a daily basis, some of these places I never hear them mentioned, right? And I talk to people from all over the states, California, Texas, wherever. France, okay, I can see that. I know a lot of Americans who, say they want to move to France, so maybe they studied abroad when they were younger. Then we got Mexico. New Zealand? Huh? As #9. Shout out to New Zealand. Shout out to, I believe they call themselves the Kiwi people, I believe they call it. And then 10, we have Costa Rica. So, according to this article, Portugal is also the number one most recommended country to survey takers based on the preference they select in the assessment, followed by France, Spain, Greece, and Switzerland. So, why are Americans wanting to move abroad? Well, let's tackle this. The top reasons people give for wanting to move out of the U.S. is adventure, enrichment, growth, according to the survey, right? That's interesting because if we go to Google, they mention a few things, but what they mention is slightly different. They mention political division, cost of living, gun violence, and a search for a better life. Which is funny because in a lot of these videos that you see by CNBC, they'll talk about the costs being like one of the main things. So it's like kind of interesting that they then go back and say that. But without further ado, I want to go to the next article right here. This talks about why are Americans leaving. And what do we have as number one? The cost of living. When I was in Brazil, I felt rich, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was in Thailand, Vietnam, I felt like a different person. Not just the food, not just the energy, not just the vibes, not just the people, the culture, music, etc. When you're not as stressed financially, it does something to you, right? It's gonna change your brain frequency. They say trauma is passed down from generation to generation. If you're in a location where your finances are not an everyday concern, what's that going to do to you mentally and physically? Higher cost of living. Speaking of higher cost of living, we got places like America's largest cities, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Miami, have seen a marked increase of cost of living since 2018. I personally will argue it's been before then, but shout out to this article. I am going to give you the tool of all tools, right? Some of you have heard me mention this in my videos. Pardon me. But for you who are watching me for the first time, this is going to be the first time you heard me mention this. We have something called Nabeo. So Nabeo is a website where you can go into it and it actually gives you fairly accurate cost of living, right? So Portugal's number one, right? So we can actually compare, and we look at statistics as well as far as crime, things of that nature. But this is the main page for it. Okay, you got this, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to pick a too expensive city. So we know Oakland's expensive, Seattle, New York. Let's go somewhere middle class, Here we go, Cleveland, Ohio. So let's try to compare. We got Cleveland, Ohio, right? And here it's going to give you a breakdown as far as what's the average coffee price, bottle of water, etc. This is actually a website I recommend to people when they talk to me privately. I'm like, yo, how much does this cost? I'm not getting no type of sponsorship, no type of affiliate marketing from this company or this website. I just promote it to people because someone gave it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like this. So I started giving it to other people. Like, I think this can help you. Gives you a breakdown: sports, transportation, childcare. Some of y'all have children, right? Clothing. Y'all love to shop. During the pandemic, things got scary, but guess what was up? The clothing sales were up. So y'all love to shop. So you can come right here, look at the average price of jeans, $63, summer dress, etc. Rent per month. You're looking at a one bedroom in the city center for $16,1250. Ooh, I didn't know it was like that in Cleveland, because Vegas is about that price, but you're not gonna be downtown, you know. But let's see what it has here. Oh, it just gave my location. Hey, now you guys know I'm in Las Vegas, right? So one bedroom apartment outside of city center, 1,000. Okay, that's not too bad. But the salaries in Cleveland are not that great, right? But this is a website, right? So the name of the website is Numbeo.com, Numbeo.com, right? But there is a section here that will actually allow you to compare the places. So let's say you're interested in moving somewhere. You'd be like, do I want to go here? Do I want to do this, etc., etc.? Right here, compare Cleveland, Ohio with another city. Boom. Where's a popular place that people are going? We know. We go for different reasons, but we know why people go. Okay, so now we're going to compare the cost of living from Bangkok, Thailand, Cleveland, Ohio. So right here it has a summary section, right? Indices difference. And then it'll give you the exact breakdown little by little here. So meal at an inexpensive restaurant is going to cost you about 120 Thai baht, which is about $3.82. In Cleveland, that same would be 581.72 Thai baht, which would be 1850 USD, or a 384.8% difference. So if you're considering moving abroad, this is one of the tools that I give people. I haven't started doing consultations or anything like that, so everything I've been given has been given for free. I give people links, tools, websites, information, average salary, all that type of stuff. I give people stuff like that for free. So if you're ever interested in that type of thing, leave a comment down below or message me on IG or TikTok. I use the same username for all the different platforms, those 3 different platforms to be specific. But out here, yeah, you can go to Cappuccino, right? 97% increase. It compares it. So you can literally look at, okay, what is my city? Maybe you're not in Cleveland. Maybe you're in Indianapolis, Indiana. Maybe you're in Orlando, Florida. But either way, it's going to give you a comparison, even down to the different fruits, apples, bananas. Because, you know, certain fruits in Asia are a little more expensive. You heard about the strawberries, especially in South Korea, right? So if you notice here, the oranges, not too much difference. Bananas about the same, right? If you know about the banana war that happened in Central America, you know why that is that price. But bottle of water, 58 cents in Thailand, $2.36 in Cleveland, Ohio. I actually give people this analogy when it comes to sales. I tell people, hey, a bottle of water when you're in a grocery store doesn't seem that valuable. But a bottle of water when you're in the desert, you're like, hey, you might pay $5, $10, $15, $20 for that bottle. So sometimes it's not necessarily your sales pitch as much as your location. So if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, etc., you want to keep that in mind. Speaking of location, this all ties back into what we're doing, right? So you may not be living the lifestyle that you want to live in America, in the UK, etc. Your lifestyle may benefit in a different place. I argue the world is so big, why do we got to stay in the same neighborhood, same city, same street we were born in? I feel like we should explore our options and see what's out there. Might be a better career, might be better friends. For me personally, I'm big into food, so when I relocate, it's for healthier food because unfortunately there's a lot of chemicals, pesticides, etc. So whatever your angle is, you're going to find it. Sports, you're going to be, that's another thing I want to mention real quick. You heard me talk about the strawberries. In a lot of other countries, having a gym membership is considered a luxury thing. So generally speaking, a lot of other countries are cheaper than UK, Canada, Australia, USA, all that stuff. But when it comes to gym membership, it can be more pricey. When I was in Thailand, I think I was paying like $100 for a gym membership, where here in Vegas it's like $19.99, $20 pretty much. But yeah, look at this, $55.46 in Bangkok, which is a good price. Because like I said, I was paying a lot more. But then again, this is probably considering the small mom and pop gyms too that are a lot cheaper. But $56 compared to Cleveland, Ohio, 31. So the gyms, you know, they're going to get you a little bit more, but this is your health. So a couple 10, 20, 30, $40 more. Who cares, right? This is your health you're talking about. Health is wealth. So it breaks it down, apartments, etc. Salaries. Come on, man. It's giving you, you got to bookmark this page. Save it to your favorites. Contributors in the last 12 months, right? Cost of index. And then it compares to other cities, New York, Bangkok, etc. Beijing, surprisingly, is about the same as Thailand. I didn't know Beijing was that cheap. Hold on. We might have to book that flight to China. But yeah, this is a website I recommend to people. Check it out, all that type of stuff. Another website, I'll give you another free tool right here for the people who made it this far in the video. It's called Perplexity. So you're probably familiar with AI, ChatGPT, all that type of stuff. This is a form of large language model, right? Similar to ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. There's so many of them out there, DeepSeek. They're coming out with a new one every other week, it seems like. So this is Perplexity, same interface as ChatGPT, but this might be more along your speed if you're a professional worker. And the reason why I say that is no disrespect to ChatGPT, but a lot of people want proof and concepts. So when you're interacting with this, it promises to cite its sources for every time you interact with it. So that's the cool thing. So you could be like, we were just talking about Bangkok, right? So Bangkok, Thailand, cost of living. Got a little, still getting used to this new keyboard, so forgive me, y'all. Living. And then it actually, see, reviewed 10 sources. 10 sources in less than 10 seconds. Typically, it gives about 10 sources. I have noticed times where it only gives like 6 to 8, but 10 is usually the magic number. If you ever want to go directly to the sources, you can actually click here, and then it'll have the website. Expadian, Living Costs, all these different websites, and you can click them and it'll take you to the website. But if you want just the information, you can go back to the information there. But here, Bangkok is relatively affordable compared to other major Western cities, but it's one of the most expensive places to live in Thailand. I mean, if Bangkok is expensive for Thailand, imagine if you go to Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, all these other places, Phuket. You know, it gives a breakdown. They even have the sources here, so you can click that, and then it has the next couple questions. So the reason why I present this free tool as well to people, because I'm not making any money off of this, I don't have any sponsorship, blah, 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 is because this as well could be a tool you could use in your arsenal when it comes to making the right decisions. And it gives its sources, and then it has the next follow-up question. So you don't even have to think. If you want to be on autopilot and just keep clicking question after question after question, you can do that. Or you can ask a follow-up question here, right? But yeah, that's a quick little thing I wanted to show y'all when it comes to this. But let me know what y'all think about this new segment. You got different things you want me to review, go over, etc. I am more than open-minded, and can't wait to start using this laptop a lot more. So I'm happy about that. But I hope y'all have a nice day, right? Blessings, all that type of stuff, man. Stay positive.